I want to start with a question every serious coach or leader at some point in time has asked themselves. How do the great teams do it? Not the flash in the pan teams, not the ones who peak in one season and disappear the next, but the ones who perform consistently year after year under pressure when everything is on the line. What actually separates these teams from everybody else? Having spent nearly 2 decades working across elite sport and other high-performance environments, here is what I have noticed. What separates the great teams is almost never the grand gesture. It's not the inspirational speech, it's not the landmark offsite or even the dramatic culture reset. It's something far smaller and, at least on the surface, far more insignificant. Stay tuned to understand how the next 30 seconds can make or break your culture. Let's think about what actually produces a championship level performance in sport. It's not the grand final. The grand final is where you find out what you have already built. The championship is won or lost in the 10,000 training repetitions that happened before it. It's in the quality of drills nobody's watching. It's in the micro decisions made under fatigue when nobody is scoring the session. The elite coaches I have worked with understand something many of us are still yet to grasp. And here it is. The quality of the everyday determines the quality of the extraordinary. You cannot turn performance on in the moment you need it if you haven't been building it in every moment prior to that. And culture works in exactly the same way. Most organizations approach culture like it's a pre-season training camp. Intensive, designed, time limited. Then everyone goes back to the regular season and the habits that were there before just come straight back. This is not a failure of effort. It's a failure of understanding where culture actually lives. Because culture doesn't live in the offsite or a pre-season camp or at a workshop. It lives in the micro behaviors that unfold every day. Most of these so small and unremarkable they pass by entirely without notice. They're the things like who gets to finish their sentence in a meeting and who gets cut off. How long the room takes to respond when someone raises a concern. Does the eye roll, the unintended sarcasm or the inappropriate joke get addressed and repaired in real time? It's what a leader's face does in the unguarded half second when they first realize a mistake has been made. Your team is reading every one of these moments as cultural data, every time without fail. And that's the spot, those next 30 seconds, where culture is actually being built or being eroded. So what does this mean practically? It means you already have more leverage than any offsite or any workshop can give you. Here are 4 very practical things you can do to build your team's capability to create a high-performance culture using micro behaviors. First, observe before you intervene. Spend just 1 or 2 meetings just watching. Who gets to speak? Who gets interrupted? How does the room respond when something uncomfortable lands? You're learning to read the game as it's actually being played, not as you assume it is. Secondly, name what you notice but without judgment. Saying something as direct as, I'm aware we tend to move on when a concern is raised. I want to give that more space. That's not a confrontation. That's a coach pausing a drill to say, we can do this better. Third, redistribute airtime deliberately. If the same voices always shape direction, others will eventually just stop trying. So invite people in by name. Ask for a second perspective before a decision is made. Done consistently, these small shifts change who believes their voice matters. Fourth, repair micro-ruptures in real time. When a contribution gets overlooked, bring it back. When someone takes a risk and it gets shut down, pause and recalibrate. When the eye roll or the exasperated exhale happen, bring attention to it and support the team to restore connection before moving on. The repair doesn't need to be elaborate. It just needs to happen in the moment, not in the debrief 3 days later. The elite teams that sustain performance across seasons, across eras, don't rely on inspiration. They rely on standards, more specifically, the standard of the ordinary moment. Because the grand final is just a regular training session, but with higher stakes. And if the training sessions haven't been right, no amount of intensity in the moment will fix it. So, your next team meeting is a training session. The conversation you're about to have is a drill. And the micro behaviors inside that drill, so how you listen, how you respond, how you hold a room when something difficult comes up, are building the culture that will either hold under pressure or fracture beneath it. So it's not the next offsite, it's not the next initiative, it's the next 30 seconds. If this resonates, my book, From Fear to Flow, The Adaptive Safety Revolution, goes deep into this territory, including a full framework for building adaptive safety through the everyday rhythms of your team. There's a link for the book below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.